Hello, welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to the video series where I review the USGBC LEED Glossary. My name is Marina Ray. I'm a LEED accredited professional with the Building Design and Construction designation, or BD+C, and I am a USGBC Pro Reviewer. I worked on many LEED projects, and when I was preparing for my LEED Green Associate and LEED AP exam, I was looking for the videos where the glossary and the most important terms can be reviewed, but I could not find any. So that is why I decided to put together this video series for those of you who study for the exam. This is part 2 of the sequence. And if you have not seen my part 1, where I cover the terms letters A through G, there will be a link to the video in the description for this video. I just don't want the videos to be too long, and that's why I decided to split them in a few videos. So you can listen to this in a relaxed manner while you're working out, commuting, or doing some work in the house or in your garden. And this is how you can memorize those terms, and this is how you can get familiar with the LEED terminology. All right, so let us begin with the letter H for this video. Hardscape, the inanimate elements of the building landscaping. It includes pavement, roadways, stone walls, wood and synthetic decking, concrete paths and sidewalks, and concrete, brick, and tile patios. Hazardous material, any item or agent, biological, chemical, or physical, that has the potential to cause harm to humans, animals, or the environment, either by itself or through interaction with other factors. Heat island effect. The thermal absorption by hardscape, such as dark, non-reflective pavement and buildings, and its subsequent radiation to surrounding areas. Other contributing factors may include vehicle exhaust, air conditioners, and street equipment. Tall buildings and narrow streets reduce airflow and exacerbate the effect. Highway, a transportation thoroughfare intended for motor vehicles with limited access points, prohibitions on human-powered vehicles, and other speeds than local roads. A highway generally connects cities and towns. Historic building, a building or structure with historic, architectural, engineering, archaeological, or cultural significance that is listed or determined to be eligible as a historic structure or building, or as a contributing building or structure in a designated historic district. The historic designation must be made by a local historic preservation review board or similar body, and the structure must be listed in the State Register of Historic Places, be listed in the National Register of Historic Places, or a local equivalent outside the US, or have been determined eligible for listing. Historic district, a group of buildings, structures, objects, and sites that have been designated or determined to be eligible as historically and architecturally significant, and categorized as either contributing or non-contributing to the historic nature of the district. Homogeneous material, an item that consists of only one material throughout or a combination of multiple materials that cannot be mechanically disjointed, excluding surface coatings. Hot mopped asphalt for roofing, a mopping grade oxidized asphalt as defined by NIOSH, an oxidized asphalt used principally in the construction of built-up roofing, BUR, and some modified bitumen systems, Mop-and-grade asphalts are produced in 4 grades, types 1 through 4, according to the steepness of the roof. Hydrozone, a group of plantings with similar water needs. Illuminance, the incident luminous flux density on a differential element of surface located at a point and oriented in a particular direction, expressed in lumens per unit area. Since the area involved is differential, it is customary to refer to this as illuminance at a point. The unit name depends on the unit of measurement for area. Foot candles if square feet are used for area, and lux if square meters are used. This is adapted from IES. In lay terms, illuminance is a measurement of light striking a surface. It is expressed in foot candles in the US, and that is based on the square feet, and in lux in most other countries, based on square meters. Impervious surface, an area of ground that development and building have modified in such way that precipitation cannot infiltrate downward through the soil. Examples of impervious surfaces include roofs, paved roads, and parking areas, sidewalks, and soils that have been compacted either by design or by use. Individual occupant space, an area where an occupant performs distinct tasks. Individual occupant spaces may be within multi-occupant spaces and should be treated separately where possible. Industrial process water, any water discharged from a factory setting. Before this water can be used for irrigation, its quality needs to be checked. Saline or corrosive water should not be used for irrigation. Infill site, a site where at least 75% of the land area, exclusive of right-of-way, within half a mile or 800 meters of the project boundary is previously developed. A street or other right-of-way does not constitute previously developed land. It is the status of property on the other side of right-of-way or the street that matters. There is a remark for LEED ND or neighborhood development only. So infill site is a site that meets any of the following 4 conditions. A, at least 75 of its boundary borders parcels that individually are at least 50% previously developed, and that in aggregate are at least 75% previously developed. B, the site, in combination with bordering parcels, forms an aggregate parcel whose boundary is 75% bounded by parcels that individually are at least 50% previously developed, and that in aggregate are at least 75% previously developed. C, at least 75% of the land area exclusive of rights of way within half a mile or 800 meters of the project boundary is previously developed. And D, the lands within half a mile or 800 meters of the project boundary have a pre-project connectivity of at least 140 intersections per square mile or 55 intersections per square kilometer. The circulation network itself does not constitute previously developed land. It is the status of property on the other side of the segment of circulation network that matters. For conditions A and B above, any fraction of the perimeter that borders a water body is excluded from the calculation. Infiltration. HVAC uncontrolled inward air leakage to conditioned spaces through unintentional openings in ceilings, floors, and walls from unconditioned spaces or the outdoors caused by the same pressure differences that induce exfiltration. That's per ASHRAE 62.1-2010. Informal transit. A transit service in which individuals travel together in a passenger car or small van that seats at least 4 people. It can include human-powered conveyances, which must accommodate at least 2 people. It must include an enclosed passenger seating area, fixed route service, fixed fare structure, regular operation, and the ability to pick up multiple riders. Infrared or thermal emittance. A value between 0 and 1 or 0% and 100% that indicates the ability of a material to shed infrared radiation or heat. A cool roof should have a high thermal emittance. The wavelength range for radiant energy is roughly 5 to 40 micrometers. Most building materials, including glass, are opaque in this part of the spectrum and have an emittance of roughly 0.9 or 90%. Clean, bare metals, such as untarnished galvanized steel, have a low emittance and are the most important exceptions to the 0.9 rule. In contrast, aluminum roof coatings have intermediate emittance levels. This is adapted from Lawrence Berkeley National Laboratory. Inpatient. An individual admitted to a medical, surgical, maternity, specialty, or intensive care unit for a length of stay exceeding 23 hours. Inpatient unit. Any medical, surgical, maternity, specialty, or intensive care unit where an individual receives care for more than 23 hours. Integral labeling. An information conveyance system that cannot be easily removed. For furniture, such labeling may also include radio frequency identification, engraving, embossing, or other permanent marking containing information on material origin, properties, and date of manufacture. Integrated pest management. A method of pest management that protects human health and the surrounding environment and improves economic returns through the most effective, least risk option. Integrated project delivery, or IPD, an approach that involves people, systems, and business structures, contractual and legal agreements, and practices. The process harnesses the talents and insights of all participants to improve results, increase value to the owner, reduce waste, and maximize efficiency through all phases of design, fabrication, and construction. This is adapted from the American Institute of Architects. Intensive vegetated roof. A roof that, compared with an extensive vegetated roof, has greater soil volume, supports a wider variety of plants, including shrubs and trees, and allows a wider variety of uses, including human access. The depth of the growing medium is an important factor in determining habitat value. The native or adapted plants selected for the roof should support the site's endemic wildlife populations. This is adapted from Green Roofs for Healthy Cities. Interior floor finish. All the layers applied over a finished subfloor or stairs, including stair treads and risers, ramps, and other walking surfaces. Interior finish excludes building structural members such as beams, trusses, studs, or subfloors, or similar items. Interior finish also excludes non-full spread wet coatings or adhesives. Interior wall and ceiling finish. All the layers comprising the exposed interior surfaces of buildings, including fixed walls, fixed partitions, columns, exposed ceilings, and interior wainscoting, paneling, interior trim, or other finish applied mechanically or for decoration, acoustical correction, surface fire resistance, and similar purposes. Intermodal facility, a venue for the movement of goods in a single loading unit or road vehicle that uses successively two or more models of transportation without the need to handle the goods themselves. Interstitial space, an intermediate space located between floors with a walk-on deck, often used to run the majority of the utility distribution and terminal equipment, thus permitting convenient installation, maintenance, and future modifications. Invasive plant, non-native vegetation that has been introduced to an area and that aggressively adapts and reproduces. The plant's vigor combined with the lack of natural enemies often leads to outbreak populations. This is adapted from the U.S. Department of Agriculture. IT annual energy, electricity consumption by information technology and telecom equipment, which includes servers, networking, and storage equipment over the course of a year. Lamp, a device emitting light in a fixture, excluding lamp housing and ballasts. Light-emitting diodes, or LEDs, packaged as traditional lamps also meet this definition. Lamp life, the useful span of operation of a source of artificial light, such as bulbs. Lamp life of fluorescent lights is determined by testing 3 hours on for every 20 minutes off. For high-density discharge lamps, the test is based on 11 hours on for every 20 minutes off. Lamp life depends on whether the start ballast is program or instant. This information is published in manufacturer's information, also known as rated average life. Land Trust, a private nonprofit organization that, as all or part of its mission, actively works to conserve land by undertaking or assisting in conservation easement or land acquisition, or by its stewardship of such land or easements. This is adapted from Land Trust Alliance. Land clearing debris and soil, materials that are natural, such as rock, soil, stone, vegetation. Materials that are man-made, for example, concrete, brick, cement, are considered construction waste even if they were on site. Landscape water requirement, or LWR, the amount of water that the site landscape areas require for the site's peak watering month. Lead-free, a label defined by the US EPA regulations under the Safe Drinking Water Act that allows small amounts of lead in solders, plugs, pipes, pipe fittings, and well pumps. Least risk pesticide, a registered pesticide in the Tier 3 lower toxicity category using the San Francisco hazard ranking system, or a pesticide that meets the requirement in the San Francisco Pesticide Hazard Screening Protocol and is sold as a self-contained bait or as a crack and crevice treatment used in areas inaccessible to building occupants. Rodenticides are never considered least risk pesticides. Length of stay, the amount of time a person remains in a healthcare facility as an admitted patient. Life cycle assessment, and evaluation of the environmental effects of a product from cradle to grave, as defined by ISO 14040-2006 and 14044-2006. Life cycle inventory, a database that defines the environmental effects, inputs, and outputs for each step in the materials or assembly's life cycle. The database is specified to countries and regions within countries. Light pollution. Waste light from building sites that produces glare is directed upward to the sky or is directed off the site. Waste light does not increase nighttime safety, utility, or security and needlessly consumes energy. Light rail. Transit service using 2 or 3 car trains in the right-of-way that is often separated from other traffic modes. Spacing between stations tends to be half-mile or more, and maximum operating speeds are typically between 40 and 55 miles per hour or between 65 and 90 kilometers per hour. Light rail corridors typically extend 10 or more miles or 16 and more kilometers. Light trespass. Obtrusive illumination that is unwanted because of quantitative, directional, or spectral attributes. Light trespass can cause annoyance, discomfort, distraction, or loss of visibility. Load shedding, an intentional action by a utility to reduce the load on the system. Load shedding is usually conducted during emergency periods, such as capacity shortages, system instability, or voltage control. Long-term bicycle storage. Bicycle parking that is easily accessible to residents and employees and covered to protect bicycles from rain and snow. Low-cost development. An operational improvement such as a repair, upgrade, or staff training or retraining. In LEED, the project team determines the reasonable upper limit for low-cost improvements based on facility resources and operating budgets. Low-impact development, or LID. An approach to managing rainwater runoff that emphasizes on-site natural features to protect water quality by replicating the natural land cover hydrologic regime of watersheds and addressing runoff close to its source. Examples include better site design principles, for example, minimizing land disturbance, preserving vegetation, or minimizing impervious cover, and design practices such as rain gardens, vegetated swales and buffers, permeable pavement, rainwater harvesting, soil amendments. These are engineered practices that may require specialized design assistance. Major renovation. Extensive alteration work in addition to work on the exterior shell of the building and or primary structural components and or the core and peripheral MEP and service systems and or site work. Typically, the extent and nature of the work is such that the primary function space cannot be used for its intended purpose while the work is in progress and there is a new certificate of occupancy is required before the work area can be reoccupied. Makeup water. Water that is fed into a cooling tower system or evaporative condenser to replace water lost through evaporation, drift, bleed off, or other causes. Manage rainwater on site. To capture and retain a specified volume of rainwater to mimic natural hydrologic function. Examples of rainwater management include strategies that involve evapotranspiration, infiltration, and capture and reuse. Master plan boundary. The limits of a site master plan. The master plan boundary includes the project area and may include all associated buildings and sites outside of the LEED boundary. The master plan boundary considers future sustainable use, expansion, and contraction. Mean lumen output. A measurement of a surface's emitted light derived from industry standards, taken with an instant start ballast that has a ballast factor of 1.0 as measured at 40% of lamp life, except for T5 lamps, which use a program start ballast. Medical furnishing. An item of furniture designed for use in healthcare. Examples include surgical tables, procedure, supply, and mobile technology carts, lifting and transfer aids, supply closet carts, and shelving and overbed tables. Metering control, a regulator that limits the flow time of water, generally a manual on and automatic off device, most commonly installed on lavatory faucets and showers. Mixed paper, white or colored paper, envelopes, forms, file folders, tablets, flyers, cereal boxes, wrapping paper, catalogs, magazines, phone books, and photos. Modular and movable casework, shelving and cabinetry designed to be easily installed, moved, or reconfigured. In a retail setting, items that are movable but semi-permanently attached using mechanical fastening systems for operational use are considered furniture and not base building elements, such as a table or display bolted to the floor or shelving attached to a wall. Mounting height, the distance between ground level or the work plane and the center of the luminaire or LED fixture, the height at which a luminaire is installed. Movable furniture and partitions, items that can be moved by the users without the need of tools or assistance from specified trades and facilities management. Multi-tenant complex, a site that was master planned for the development of stores, restaurants, and other businesses. Retailers may share some services and common areas. So that was it for this video. We will continue in part 3. And again, you can find this information for free if you go to the website. It's www.usgbc.org/glossary. Thank you so much for watching. I wish you the best of luck in your studies and good luck on your LEED Green Associate or LEED AP exam. Thank you.